Hey, you're listening to Innovators Can Laugh, the fun startup podcast. I'm your host, Eric Melcher. On ICL, we interview an innovative entrepreneur in the European tech startup scene every week. My goal is to have my guests share their wisdom while having a little fun in the process. Now let's dive in. Hello, beautiful people. How are y'all doing? This is Eric Melcher here. Thank you for taking the time to join me out of your very busy day as I get to talk to some of the most inspiring and innovative people in the startup scene here in Europe. Now, I'm going to introduce you to Andrei Stoica, but before I do that, I don't want you to miss a single episode of the show. So whatever platform you're on right now, if you haven't already, just reach out and give that subscribe button a push. That way you're notified every time there is a new episode. Anyway, my friends, I'm really excited about this. I'd like to introduce you to Andrei Stoica, who is not only the founder of a successful agency that helps B2B tech companies scale with conversion-driven websites, but he's also the co-founder of Giants Village. Their objective is to create community-owned tech products that have a real-world utility. They started Giants with a collection of 10,000 NFTs, which are unique digital collectibles living on the Multiverse X Blockchain. In Giants Village, there are currently 1,400 holders, and they are aiming to raise an additional 500K in euro in 2023 from selling tokens and NFTs to the community. Andrei, welcome to Innovators Can Laugh.
Hey, hello. Hi, Eric. Glad to be here.
Yeah, glad to have you here.
Thank you.
So I'd like to get started with Porsche, because Porsche recently had an NFT launch failure. And I saw you comment on a LinkedIn post about it, and you said, it's fun to see established brands try to launch Web3 without properly understanding how it works. Now, they're used to building an audience, but it's not the same as building a community. And that's the big shift happening right now, is community first. Okay, now you are building Giants Village, and my understanding is that you're really focused on building the community first. So I'd like to have you first talk about what is Giants Village, just kind of high level. And then how are you guys going about it to building a community?
Yeah, so like it's Giants Village is we just started it as a project. It seemed interesting at the beginning, and then we realized bit by bit that the thing with the communities is it's what actually really important. And we got that from the marketing side with the B2B agency as well, because we realized like the big and stable companies have communities around them. Like in one form or another, you still have like your, supporters or people that you keep in touch with, or like your best clients and everything like that. So you like in either way, you still build a community around it. For Giants, we started with that. We didn't know at the beginning exactly how the project would look like, but we kind of like built with them. We started with the idea of like a sort of metaverse something, because it was trendy. Meta just launched like last year, and we were like, yeah, this metaverse thing sounds interesting. But we tried to like build a clean community, people that are interested into NFTs and wanted to invest in a good project. So we also brought, like, back then there weren't many projects, like maybe none except us, that had like a company behind, had like a IP on a company and the intellectual property and everything structured well. So we just tried to do that, like build a product in a way for a community that is stable, and built for the long term. And it kind of went well with the whole crisis thing last year, when like with the bear market and everything. So we got it right, I guess.
Okay. So we're going to dive a little bit more into Giants Village. And, but before we do that, because you also run another business, which is an agency that specializes working with B2B tech companies. So what services do you provide, and how did you get your first clients? And what do you consider that your agency does well, better than most other agencies out there?
Yeah. So like we build websites. If like that's the basic thing that we do, I guess. And everybody was like, since the beginning, like, but it feels like everybody's like building websites these days. But what we do differently, I think we try to keep things simple. like I'm raised at the countryside. I'm a simple person. I don't get really complex structures because it's hard to like communicate them, and it's hard to like build together on something that it's too phasey. I don't know, too complex in a way. So we try to do the same with the agency, and like we try to keep the discussion and the process with the client simple, try to focus on objectives and what they actually need to happen, and just get it done, without any complex, like long term. I don't build a website in a year or something like that. It just like takes 2 months. It's a simple process. We just follow the process and, try to deliver as a good product, let's say a good service.
How did you get your first clients, Andrei?
I made friends, I guess, I just asked around and said like, do you need help with anything? I can do that for you. I had an attitude of like, but can you also code? And I was, yeah. And I learned over the next few weeks to code, and I also did that. So yeah, and I kept close to the clients that I got and try to help them like in an honest way, not just like deliver something and get some money. But I have this thing with like, if I say I can help, I really want to help with something and make sure it brings you some value. And after that, they just recommended us to other people, to other clients. And it just like bit by bit, I had to add some people to the team, and, the team grew constantly.
Okay. All right. Now let's talk about Giants Village. Again, this is a community for tech-driven creators, builders, and enthusiasts. My understanding, Andrei, correct me if I'm wrong, it's an easy platform that allows a person to share their NFTs, the NFTs that they may have for sale on marketplaces, and also their Twitter page so that people can contact them. Is that the gist of it, or is there a lot more to it, Andrei?
Yeah, no, it evolves, like we had my ERD, for example, like a platform that had this whole idea of like a profile. We tested that. People were not that enthusiastic about it. We had other products like Web3 print, for example, where you could print your NFT on a t-shirt or something physical, because we felt like having like a digital asset, it's nice to just bring it to the physical world, to put it like in your home, hang it on a wall or something. People were enthusiastic, but they didn't actually pay for to get t-shirts or prints.
Yeah.
So we tested various ideas, I think. And now we got to a point where we have some sort of framework where you join and you get to interact with other people and see how the community is doing. And we're just building that, where you'll have like some sort of like quests to engage with the community and build like relationships. And we'll have some like dynamics which are more Web3. Like you would be able to like your NFT to just change how it's dressed, or, add items to the NFT that you actually own in your wallet. So we'll have all sorts of like Web3 interactions, also interactions from games in a way. The quest idea is like a game dynamic that works pretty well in any kind of like community where you say like, share this with like 3 friends and you get this from, a referral or something, or a new NFT or some token or something from somebody else. And you get to like create interaction.
And how are people responding to this right now? The ability to engage with other people and communicate?
Well, like we kind of need that, we need to belong, I guess. So that's one thing with the community, being a part of like a group that has a similar, like that has an identity you kind of like connect with.
Yeah.
And then interacting with the people there, it just feels like they like making friends, I guess. So that's like kind of a basic needs of all of us.
Yeah. Now, in less than 2 years, I read on the website that there's 1,400 plus holders. Now that to me is a pretty sizable number in that time frame. How were you able to get people? You called them holders, but maybe they could also be referred to as members of the community. How were you able to get that many people join and sign up?
We had the trustworthy attitude, I guess, from the beginning. Like we try to be transparent. We try to like say exactly what we plan to do and be as open about our plans and our intentions from the beginning. We didn't build a product or like a project that we just let's make some money and then we're done. The intention was to build the actual community, and we're a part of the community. And people just, I guess they joined, they resonated with that, and they said, yeah, it's a nice thing to join. And we're still small. We're just at the beginning, I guess. So We're, right now we're figuring out exactly how to build, a bit of mass adoption, let's say, and get a lot more people in the group. And we're working at a white paper and like a new strategy. We'll release it probably in the next few days.
Okay. And this is mostly on Discord, in terms of the community where everybody's at?
Yeah. We have like 3,500 people on Discord, for example. It's like, it's more than the holders themselves.
Okay.
And yeah, it's Discord and Twitter, like for Web3 in general. I guess these are the channels.
Okay. Is that where I guess a lot of the activity's been coming from, directly from Twitter?
Yeah. But it's also like, I think that I realized with NFTs and like Web3 is that a lot of the information transfer happens in like smaller groups, so, and with sort of like influencers, let's say, or opinion makers. So if you kind of like figure out who in a specific group is the person that kind of influences the opinion of the group, and you get that person in, then you get the whole group in pretty fast after, So there are like, and you can see them as like different clusters of groups of people, that communicate, and they're on Telegram or WhatsApp, and you find like all sorts of like smaller groups.
Yeah.
And when you just like try to bring them in, they will just like bring the rest of the group in as well. So
are you using any tools or applications to help with, the insights and in terms of, research when you're trying to find out who these certain influencers are?
No, not necessarily. No, I couldn't find any like that, but it's word of mouth a lot. Like, and I found that in like building a startup as well, like a tech startup for a few years. And like what you have to do and with the community is exactly that, just manual work, one by one, have discussions, be curious, and just meet people and ask them whatever you're curious about, and they will tell you whatever you need to know. And at some point, if you have like 20, 30 discussions, something will come up and you realize what should be the next step.
Okay. And a lot of your holders and the people on Discord that are a part of you guys, are they global? I mean, is there a majority of the people just based here in Romania? Can you kind of just tell us about the audience, the community?
Yeah, because the blockchain mostly has a community around Europe, like in, Romania, Spain, France, even Germany. Most of our holders are in these areas, these countries, but you also have some guy from Philippines or like from Australia or, US somewhere.
Yeah.
It's like, it doesn't actually matter where they are. And it's interesting because like in a day, people write like, good morning. And they're like, good morning happens across the day because like everybody wakes up at different times. And
yeah, I know.
The whole day, it's just good morning.
Yeah, I know. From somebody who has, I have calls with Australia, with the States, with people in Europe. I got very, very used to that. So now you manage two different businesses, Andrei. What is one strategy that you use to help you prioritize your time and stay on top of both businesses?
So like I try to work with other people, and I think that's a thing that I learned. I'm not just doing it myself in a way. And I try to, I'm not great at replying to emails in deadlines, let's say, because I get, pulled into different projects where like I change priorities pretty fast. So I make sure the other people that I'm working with in these businesses, they're focused on the day to day and they keep it going in a way. And I'm sort of like a butterfly switching around. And this is like in a way my, attitudes. On the other hand, I try to create like spaces in my calendar, and I just like focus on one thing, get that done, and then, give it, like pass it to somebody else afterwards. And for example, like for the agency, we need to make like a more custom proposal for next week. And I know I have to do that presentation. I put it like for Tuesday in my calendar, and I just like work on it for a few hours, and I just pass it to Mihaela from the team who will make sure that gets presented well to the client, and, we get to the meeting and everything. But I'm not great at like holding, but I guess nobody is like holding too many things at once.
Yeah.
So I just try to prioritize and focus on specific things.
Okay. Now you've had the agency for a while, and I'm sure that you've hired various people and then now with Giants, same thing there. What is one thing that you do to try to ensure that you are hiring a good qualified person that's going to be good for the team and the business?
Good question. We just start. Like, honestly, I know theoretically how I should do it and how I should test on like values or like behavior profile and stuff like that. But the problem like with smaller businesses is that you usually don't get the time to do that. So I kind of have like a first discussion with the person and just get the feeling of like where his priorities are, or, what's the plan for, because if somebody comes in the team and just say like, I'm just doing development because I need to make some money and I don't really like my job, I'm like, but you should find something that you actually like, because you won't be good at it and you'll create frustration in the team and,
Yeah.
So I just try to verify if the person is in the right place in a way. And then after that, I guess it's just like a trial and error. We just start working together and figure it out.
Okay. What are you excited about this year for Giants in terms of like the roadmap or something big that you guys are working on?
Well, like I think we just took it slow because the bear market hit and we were like, the plan was to make a few million and, have a lot of money and build a big project. And then when the bear market hit, we took it slow. And right now we start to replan everything and, we have to like push a bit more in the next 6 months. And, I think it can go pretty big, and build a really nice project and build a big business in a way. But we also want to just keep it constant and steady and not push too much, because like, I don't like the idea of like high growth startups and stuff like that, because it feels like they die as fast as they grow. And the plan with us is like, we try to build something stable.
Okay, Andrei, next question for you. What is the most important meeting in your work week?
So we have like a team meeting with the account managers to just figuring out like what's the capacity like for the agency. That would be it. And we just try to like in 30 minutes to just get aligned and where is the need and who needs help with what and stuff like that. Just pretty simple. So I just try to work like with not directly the whole team, but like more with people that own the operations in a way.
Okay. What's the biggest mistake you won't make again? In both, it could be either or, in the agency or with Giants.
Not like I have a thing with like picking the wrong partners sometimes, because I kind of like, at least like historically, let's say.
Hey, I like Elena. I like
and I treated that with.
I like Elena. I think your wife is great. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but like not life partners, like business partners, I guess. I tend to find people that are pretty confident and cocky in a way. And I feel like I kind of like feel like cockiness is, trust in oneself and, like capacity and knowledge and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
And it's often not the case. So, yeah, I think that's one mistake, like picking my business partners and not for like how confident they are, but like how competent they actually are in what they're doing. So that's the thing. But like life partners, no, I'm good with that. Like Helena is great.
Yeah. Okay. So before we move to the rapid fire questions, anything else about Giants before we leave? I do have one more question. If somebody wanted to create an NFT, or maybe already has one, but wants to join the community, what does that experience look like? How would they get started?
Like if they want to join the community, just join Discord, and we're open to answer any questions there. Like we're pretty, there's no right or wrong question. We're like, we won't say no to any question. We're just answer things and try to help. That's the attitude. And we try to build that into the community as well. And if they want to build their own thing, just try to figure out what's their story about the world and what's their like point of view and what they try to fix and, what they try to achieve, and not just do it for the hype or just like, let's do another NFT community, because the hype kind of passed and it's not working anymore and the market is maturing, and just doing it for the sake of it, I think they'll just lose time.
How does the business model work, Andrei, in terms of do members pay a fee, or is there a certain commission that's collected from things that were sold in the platform?
It's like you have the NFTs work as digital products, if you want. They're collectibles at the beginning. And then for us, the business model is that we open experiences like the game and the framework and try to connect people. And they have access with the NFT that they just bought. So it's kind of like, for us, we had like a not great experience with funding a startup, let's say, and finding partners for that before giants. And we thought like, why ask for money from, VCs and like people that they're not in the project involved directly. We just asked from the customers, let's say, from the users, from the people that, benefit from whatever we're building. And we did just that. We kind of like outsourced, crowdfunded, let's say, the project by selling NFTs.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to rapid fire. Andrei, for these next questions, first answer that comes to mind, $25,000 or dinner with Andrew Chen?
The dinner. The guy, like, I would have to, like, I wouldn't do it tomorrow because I would try to prepare and just, make the most out of the meeting.
Yeah.
But I would take the dinner because I feel like these kind of small connections in the world. So.
Yeah, no, so true. So true. What's the most interesting thing that you've done in the past 26 days?
The most interesting thing. Wow. I don't know. I'm playing chess with my son and he's getting pretty good in a weird way.
Yeah.
And now I want to get good at it as well. He's he's 6 and he's on the verge of like starting to beat me at chess.
Oh man.
So I'm like, I got competitive, which it's a bit weird, but I think that's good for him as well.
Yeah, I need to step it up as a parent. I mean, my son's almost your son's age and we're still on Connect 4. We haven't moved to chess yet.
Yeah, he started with his grandfather, so I'm just competitive.
Okay. What's the most defying act you have ever done?
I don't do that usually. I'm pretty chill. I try not to define it. Like I'm on the stoicism side and I know it will come at some point.
Yeah.
But I try not to force it.
Okay. What is a must-have to be a successful business owner or entrepreneur? What trait, what characteristic?
I think empathy. It felt at the beginning that people were like more ego centric, like 10 years ago when I started, it plus kind of the feeling on the market, like the big hero that comes with his own idea and knows exactly what, has the answer to our problems and stuff like that. I don't think it's the case. Like I think like you kind of have to be open and not have a strong ego and focus on understanding and connecting with others, and the solution will come from that.
All right. Where can people learn more about you and Giants, Andrei?
They can just find us online, like on Twitter or any channel. Just reach out. I'm happy to share. And if you, for me in general, you'll find me around the stoica.ro domain because I'm pretty proud that I bought that at some point.
Okay.
So if you just type that, you'll find me online. Andrei Stoica, not really, because there's an MMA guy who's like stronger than me and has a bigger digital presence. So,
all right, I'll make sure I include the right link to you on the show notes. Thank you, Andrei, for being on Innovators Can Laugh.
Same. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. All right, everybody, think about how inspired you may feel right now from Andrei's story. Imagine you had missed out on that. If you haven't already, give that subscribe button a push. That way you're notified every time there is a new episode. But more importantly, you don't miss out on stories like the one you are hearing right now. Now, before you get on with the rest of your day, I want you to hear something. You are awesome. Now, you may be saying, come on, Eric, you just had Andrei, who is a rock star, on the show. He's built 2 amazing businesses along with a community of creators and builders. And while that may be true, if you're an entrepreneur, a business owner, a creator, whatever you want to call yourself, you're one of a very small percentage of human beings that have the courage and the vision to create something new. You're taking an idea and making it a reality. And that's pretty amazing, which makes you awesome. All right. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you on the next episode. Cheers.
Thanks for listening to the show. If you enjoyed it, I'd really appreciate it if you could give us a review and star rating. Also, don't forget to sign up for the ICL newsletter at innovatorscanlaugh.com, where you can get the bio and details of each guest. Thanks.